Next on the news. Music notes become math problems for one class in the Diocese of Brooklyn.
It's a music project in the most unsuspecting of places. I'm Jessica Easthope with how these students are creating the shape of sound.
A viral moment in Midtown Manhattan as thousands took to the streets in a public display of prayer. Plus, the Diocese of Brooklyn is helping survivors of clerical sexual abuse celebrating Mass together so they can heal spiritually.
My hope is that more and more survivors come to the Mass and experience the healing presence of God.
I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. Sneak peek of their performance, and before you see the show at the Co-Cathedral of St. Joseph this Friday, these kids are giving you the math behind the music. Have you ever been able to visualize a sound, or has a note ever reminded you of a color or shape? That's the prompt for a new class project coming out of St. Joan of Arc Catholic Academy after they got to see a special performance from a Brooklyn Catholic choir. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has more from Jackson Heights.
Was like a bit more angular.
Malaya Millar loves to sing, but she never thought she'd be doing it in math class.
I had no idea. I was wondering how they both connected.
Malaya and her fellow 8th graders at St. Joan of Arc Catholic Academy in Jackson Heights have been tasked by their math teacher, Claudia Rizza, with creating the shape of sound.
When I had this opportunity for the students to listen to classical music, the light turned on.
It happened during a field trip. Students got to sit in on a music at Co-Cath or MACC rehearsal at the Co-Cathedral of St. Joseph in Prospect Heights. The group performed Requiem 1605 by Spanish Renaissance composer Tomás Luis de Victoria.
What I want them to do is relate things that are completely opposite for many minds, not for me.
Now I could see how they both align and how they could both really be combined together to form as one.
Tomás Luis de Victoria's Requiem 1605, heard here, is an example of polyphony, meaning many melodies occurring at one time.
Polyphony, having multiple musical lines happening at once. Math and music actually work really well hand in hand.
What the composer did was try to use mathematics and try to place more melody on the top.
Students said once they saw the music, they couldn't unsee it.
I think that triangular shapes are high-pitched and figures with soft edges are soft voices, like low or deep.
Some students plan to attend MACC's From Death to Eternal Light concert series, enjoying the magic now with their ears and eyes. In Jackson Heights, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
You too can see music at Co-Cath perform for free this Friday. Just go to maccbrooklyn.org for their list of shows and how to get tickets. Praising God in public, thousands hit the streets and watched online as a Eucharistic procession shut down Midtown Manhattan.
Our God is greater, our God is strong.
Catholics from across the country took part in Napa Institute's annual event on Tuesday, which is meant to unite and uplift people in a public celebration of faith. It began with Mass at St. Patrick's Cathedral. Then participants walked with the Blessed Sacrament through the city's bustling streets, sharing their faith with onlookers. You can check out our viral coverage of the procession online. And if you want a direct link to the post, grab your phones right now and scan this QR code. And of course, while you're there, be sure to subscribe so you can get all the Catholic news updates. And if you want to read more about the Eucharistic procession, head over to thetablet.org, where you can read Jess's full report right there on the homepage. This week's paper has a lot of news you don't want to miss, like the meeting Pope Leo XIV had with immigration advocates. The Holy Father was given dozens of handwritten letters from migrants in the U.S. who, in their own words, described the fear they're living in the States. The paper also wraps up Hispanic Heritage Month with a story about lowrider cars and their significance in the Latino Catholic culture. Meet a Mexican-American artist who embraces her roots as she photographs the cars. So be sure to pick up the paper at your local church. You can also support the tablet and Catholic journalism by becoming a member. You can do so by going online to thetablet.org/become-a-member. Turning now to new video showing the destruction of a monastery with a close connection to the first millennial saint. As you can see, last weekend's fire at the Bernaga Monastery in northern Italy devastated the nearly 400-year-old building, the site where St. Carlo Acutis received his first Holy Communion. Fortunately, the 21 cloistered nuns living there escaped unharmed. An investigation into the cause of the fire continues, but early reports point to a short circuit in one of the convent rooms. Pope Leo XIV has sent help to the children of Gaza. The Holy Father shipped 5,000 doses of antibiotics to the Strip in an attempt to ease the suffering of children affected by the war. Coordinated by the papal almoner, Cardinal Konrad Krajewski, the medications were sent to hospitals and pediatric centers, where the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzaballa, says they were distributed to those in need. The Vatican has also released another report that focuses on protecting children from sexual abuse. The paper by the Pontifical Commission for the Protection of Minors highlights progress and challenges in safeguarding children within the Catholic Church. Drawing from survivor input, the document calls for better listening, transparent reporting, and holistic support beyond just financial compensation. While regions like Italy show advancements in policies and training, gaps persist in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. The report urges simplified procedures and accountability to foster healing and prevent abuse. In the Diocese of Brooklyn, a powerful annual tradition, the Mass of Hope and Healing, gathers survivors of clergy sexual abuse together. For some attendees, it's a first step toward reclaiming peace after unimaginable pain. And as Currents News' Jessica Easthope reports, this year's Mass sees survivors advocating boldly, calling for the Church to help others in need.
Frank Tremontano's silent prayer has been the same for many years, that the Catholic Church continues to do more for people like him.
Thank God for the counseling. Counseling brought me a long way. There's stuff I struggle with every day.
Frank is one of many, an unknown number of survivors of clergy sexual abuse. For him, it happened nearly 6 decades ago in the Diocese of Brooklyn.
I got compensated and it was nice to get, but I give back twice as much because I feel, I missed out on being who I am.
Frank's road to healing hasn't been smooth, but he took a big step forward when he joined the Diocese of Brooklyn's Survivors Group and attended his first Mass of Hope and Healing.
They had all the priests there. It was overwhelming. I mean, I think I sat in a pew and just cried. It was very emotional for me.
Today, the group is small but tight-knit. Frank looks to his fellow members for strength. One in particular is Jeff, known to his parishioners as Father Jeff Dillon.
I came to the realization that if I wanted to be healed, I have to choose that. This happened to me, but it doesn't have to be the authorship of my life.
Father Jeff's abuse occurred in another corner of Brooklyn, also in the 1960s. Today, the men, both in their 70s, say they want survivors to get the recognition and respect they deserve, and for the Church to offer hope and healing every day of the year.
Certainly every Eucharist is a healing Eucharist. It's a healing celebration. So my hope is that more and more survivors come to the Mass.
The Mass of Hope and Healing is being celebrated this year at St. Finbar Church on October 29th. The Diocesan Survivors Group collaborates with the Office for the Protection of Children and Young People on how the Church can expand its outreach.
How I want to help, that's never changed.
I am greater than this, and so I move forward and move beyond it.
The men say if their work empowers even one more survivor to come forward and begin their healing journey, the prayer has been answered. Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
We here at Currents News are also keeping all those who have suffered from abuse in our prayers, and we just want to repeat that information for the Mass of Hope and Healing one more time for you. It will be at St. Finbar Church. That's at 138 Bay 20th Street in Bath Beach, Brooklyn, at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, October 29th. That is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.